pulls me closer to the screen. He tells me, come here. I just wanted to show you what's going on with you. And he tells me, you having some. Now, this guy had some very funny pronunciation because he said, I have some early pregnancy.
Oh, you
So,
are
me in my head, I'm
pregnant.
wondering, yeah, he said pregnancy. So, in my head, I'm wondering, what infection is that? Because he told me, and me, I'm startled. I'm like, what is
All
pregnancy?
this time you cannot even connect.
Karibuni, welcome tuelimishwe kwa masuala ya jamii, tutumbuize sana mbalimbali, tujuze juu ya matukio ya kila pembe, kwa familiani, kwa familia nzima.
Good evening. It's Sunday. You know what we do on Sunday? It's against all odds. And on this show, we talk to ordinary people, having gone through extraordinary situations and doing extraordinary things. Last week, I left you with an interesting hook where we meet this lady who decided that books alone were not enough. And then she decided she wanted an extra sauce on the plate. But that was just about to make a turnaround. My name is Likuyani Eli. Welcome to Against All Odds. Remember, you can follow this live link on Facebook and YouTube on the handles The Art in Heart on Facebook, The Art in Heart on official on YouTube, and use the hashtag Art in Heart responding to live, and of course, Against All Odds. Once again, karibuni sana, and without further ado, I have with me Josephine Wambui. Good evening, Josephine, and how are you?
Good evening, Eli. I am well, thank you. I thank God.
Kwa
Yes,
wale
good to
ambao
see you.
walikuwa hapa hapana, what do you want to tell them who you are? Kidogo tu leo situpe CV ya 500 years.
My name is Josephine Omboy. I'm a mom of 3 daughters. I'm a businesswoman. I'm God-fearing. I'm a brother. I'm a sister, and I'm a daughter. That is in a nutshell.
Awesome. That is in a nutshell. That is who Josephine is. And of course, last week we talked to you and you told us on how things turned around for you. And of course, Josephine is a mother of 3, but how did she get to number 3 is what we want to discover and how things went around. So Josephine, let's dive into it. Umekuja, and finally you have baby number 2 that arrived. And then,
Yes.
were you married then? Or ulikuwa tu unafanya bahati nasibu? What was happening then?
I was, let me say what we call Come We Stay at that time. So I was still with the same guy who is the father to my first child. And now I learned that I was pregnant again. That was in 2017. However, just to mention that we were still having a few issues here and there. And especially even when after I got pregnant, it was also not easy. But along the way in the pregnancy, he really started, taking care of me, taking very good care of me. I can remember I felt treated like a queen. It was especially when I got to the month number 5, and all of a sudden there was peace back. But I need to mention that all along, I was struggling with a few things that had happened when we were in campus. And there were a few things that, had been done, and the consequences were still moving on with us. And especially for me, every day I had to keep reminding myself that there was another child sired, when my baby was literally a month old. So, and why I struggled with it is because when I would ask about it, it was wrong, he would deny it. But then later I had to find it out in a very weird way. And I found that was way later. That's when I found out, oh, so it was true. There's still another child out there. And it really bothered me as a young lady. I would keep wondering, we are really so young, still young in the marriage. I'm still dealing with the thoughts that, there's another child out there. However, I still decided to be that gracious woman and decided to, you know what, let's sit down, let's talk about this. Yes, it happened. And so what? I really want you to take care of that child and let's just move on with our lives, but let this not affect us. I'm a woman, I'm a mother. I wouldn't want to imagine the child is, suffering out there. So we had a very clear conversation and that was it. But I will not lie to you that it kept bothering me a lot. So now let's move forward to baby number 2 is born. And living now, oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that we had actually done the dowry ceremony. That was in 2016, December. It was really nice. We had parents' blessings. We had blessings from our uncles and the aunties, and the parents came all the way to my place, all the way from their home. And it was such a beautiful thing. And I was really proud of him. I remember I even, I would look at him and I told him, this is something that I'll live to honor that you have done. I'll not take this for granted. So we moved on. Baby number 2 is born and we started off nicely. But along the way, things started getting different when the baby was around 5 months. I started now experiencing, moments he comes home very late. At times he doesn't even show up. And I was drowning, to be honest. Let me just talk on my end. Remember, Ailey, I said I really want to respect this person because one thing I wouldn't want anyone to mistake is that I still respect him to date because he's still the father of my children and he's very much involved in their lives. So I would not sit down here and lie to the world that he was a bad person, he left his children. No. He's still very much present in their lives. And honestly, I respect whatever he does. So allow me to, as I talk about it, let me just major on my end. I'll just
exactly.
Yes, just to respect him. So yes, I started drowning I forgot myself. Remember, I was a very vibrant human being. I was full of life. I was this lady who loved making things happen. And I remember one day, Ellie, I sat down and I accepted that I have lost it. I was now a housewife. I didn't have no mission. I had big dreams. I'm a dreamer. Since I was a small child, I had big dreams of being a great singer. I wanted to be a great actress. I wanted to be a great business woman. And I sat down that day and I looked at my life and I was like, here I am married. There is nothing to show for it. I don't have a job. My husband is out there and I don't even know whether he loves me anymore. And I think I'll just accept the fact that I have failed and I will live in my failures. And Ellie, I started drowning into that. I remember there's a time I was doing so badly, I wouldn't even want to meet, like if I'm going to town for me was so bad. Like I would feel like, oh no, do I really have to go to town? And if I had to, I would really wish I don't meet with anyone who knows me. Because remember, I was a person with a name in school and people knew me. And the few that I would meet with will be like, oh, you look different, And they wouldn't say you look different in a good way. You could see on their faces, they're really wondering whatever happened to you, So in a nutshell, I had let my inside thoughts bring me down, so much down. And then I started now regretting. I would go back to, why did I do this? Why did I, settle for this? I started even hating myself. And you know what that does to you? It is reflected on your face. I started losing a lot of weight. By then, I was so thin. I remember there's a time I would go to the tailor for him to adjust my trousers. And there's a particular trouser I took 3 times. He adjusts it. Then after a week, it's loose again. He adjusts it again, So moving forward, it got to a time where me and my partner, I couldn't really find myself. I'm looking at his priorities. I could see he was doing good with his business. He's taking care of his family, but I'm not feeling myself on his list. because
Ideally, you were detached and you felt like you were
yeah,
non-existent with priorities.
exactly. And the biggest challenge I remember I had in the marriage is communication, because I would get a lot of Cold War. He would give me a lot of Cold War, and he would just decide to shut on me completely. So that I decide to leave, I had experienced Cold War for more than a month.
A month?
N-
Only?
Yes, for more than a
Only?
You mean
You know what
only?
I'm
It
saying?
is
Only
very
because some people can give you a strange Cold War, and you're wondering how can you be in love and you claim not to care about this one person that should matter to you. But I want us to take that up after this comment section. Let's see who is saying what, and I'll go all the way up. Thank you so much for everybody that is joining us, and Karibu Sana. This is Art in Heart, and you're watching the show Against All Odds. This is Frida Nguku who says wa kwanza hapa. Yes, Frida, thank you so much. And yes, you're indeed watching part 2 of Josephine's story. She was here last week and today anatupea kila kitu ambaye ilikuwa imesalia. Duncan Tiga says, vipi kwako kaka? I hope you're doing well. Karibu sana to Against All Odds. Remember the hashtag is Art in Heart, responding to live and Against All Odds. Good to see you, Josephine. Glued for part 2. Okay, I think Frida is more of a cheerleader here, and thank you so much, Frida, for that. Mtoto wa daktari anasema vipi, silent was not fans, please, they could not solve things that way. Yes, indeed, we are multi-streaming this stream to different pages, and of course, one of it is Tina Kagia. Thank you so much, Mtoto wa daktari, for these shout outs. And we have Hilary Sang who says, good evening to you. Hi everyone, Art in Heart hashtag. Thank you so much, Jakita. Hi to you. Let's see who else is here. We have I'm here to ask for part 3 before time ishe. Bro, cheza chini. We have Waswa Derek. Mr. Derek Waswa says marriage is communication. That is deep. That is deep, very deep indeed. And we go ahead and we have Edelkwe, you are here, a long time. We're tutagombana, but for another time. This is one of our very good friends. Thank you so much for joining and being part of the conversation. Wewe Eli, a week is too long already. Nitakuwa nishaenda. You people, what happened to the Charles of today? You can't stay in silence and wait for the moment. Even magma takes time to erupt. Anyway, Simon Muri, who says, sis, just have peace and move on. Forget the past is pole. Well, you just have to stay until the end to know what happened to Josephine. And we have Waso says, no, I should be contract 2. I like your script, Derek. Thank you so much for joining once again. And finally, I have Frida who says, yes, Waso, I agree with you. Noah should be what they call a contract, and of course it's already a contract. So what's coming up, find out in a moment as we take a very, very quick break. We'll be right back.
Everyone tells you to watch out for the following signs and symptoms which might indicate that you are a mental health patient. Everyone gives you a clinical approach on how to tackle your mental health problems. But me, I'm no expert. I'm just an artistic soul with a simple life and a simple approach on how to stay sane in a world designed to drive you insane. Simple, the EP. Enjoy.
Wahenga walisema kipoteacho hakirudi, na mama akasema lazima nikusamehe. Wanadhani ati twafana, ati twapendana, kumbe twapigana. Kazi nitapata, nikuache niende, afadhali nitafute kuliko umenivumilia. Oh, 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 wanipa pressure, wanipa pressure. Oh, 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 wanipa pressure, wanipa pressure. Tumekuwa pamoja.
Well, that is Julie going out with pressure. Mi nakwambia pressure yenye Julie alikuwa amepeta hapa akaimba huo wimbo, only her can explain. And of course, one and only Josephine, who is here with me tonight, telling a story on how pressure zilimsukuma. Josephine, welcome back. Tuendelee na kazi. Wewe ndio huyo, umejichocha, pressure zimekuleta ukasema hapa I'm about to step and say I've reached the end of it and now it's time for me to find my own peace. Cold War. Tuendele.
Yes. Cold War. And this was not the first time I had experienced Cold War. And I had already tried to put it across that I really don't enjoy it because I've been brought up in a family where if you have an issue, you place it on the table, people discuss about it. In fact, this was new to me. I had never seen people shutting up for each other. I've only seen that with, ladies. Ladies always, attend to their moody, but just goes for maybe a few hours or just a day if it has to go far. But with your partner, for me, that was quite new because I had already seen my partner.
I'm sorry, I'm turning this into a question, but
yes.
Do you feel it's wrong for your partner to actually go mute on you for extended number of hours?
For me, I feel, well, if it's a few hours, that's fine. Because, there are those people that really need to sit back, think about the issue, and then now they're ready to talk about it. That is totally agreed. Or even if it's a day, that's fine. But where it goes to a week, Ellie, a week, a month, you have a family, you have things to talk about. Clearly, now it starts now affecting your other partner. Because for me, up to date, I think I have phobia for Cold War because of what I went through. I would feel sick. By the way, I would see him get in the house and my stomach would go like, gosh, actually, what next now? Because you don't know what this person is thinking about. And what was even worse is that he'll go silent on me alone. He'll talk to the children, he'll talk to the helper, so I'm the one who is being ignored here.
So ideally, if they need socks, they tell your mom I need some socks. If they need to go to the shower, tell your mom it's time for shower.
No, he wouldn't even do. He wouldn't even do that. He would communicate it now to the helper.
The help? Yeah.
And I'm right there. Yes. So it was very frustrating. I'm right there. He will ask for a glass of water from the helper. And I'm there. Yes?
Na hiyo urembo yote ulikuwa unaangaliwa kama TV?
I mean, I was nothing, zero. Have you ever felt like you mean nothing? I have never been reduced in my life like that moment. And I can testify to you, like, that is the worst thing I want to go again. I don't want to go through that again in my life. Like, where you're being treated, you don't exist. Yes.
Are you dating?
Right now, that was really straight. No, I'm not dating. Not yet. I am taking my sweet time.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were available, but it's okay.
Nimechill. So anyway, yeah, those are some of the things. And remember, I am already dealing with so much in my heart. I'm already questioning myself. Did I make the right decision? And then I'm here, I'm trying to want to understand, because once in a while I want to understand that men like their me time. Leave me alone. Let me do this. I really want to respect that. But at the same time, I don't understand how you quiet to me, you're receiving calls, you can laugh on phone. Then when I'm there, you don't talk. So Ellie, it continued like that to a very long time. And to me, I felt I couldn't take it. And on top of that, there were other things that, well, they're quite confidential, like, the late time coming, smelling of perfume, you don't want to talk about it. So it got to a point
I want to talk about the perfume, actually.
There's nothing to talk about. It was just he would come smelling perfume, and I'll ask him about it, and he will deny it, and it will now be turned against.
Probably had walked through a market that sells perfume. Why would you conclude
Yeah,
stuff?
You're right. And this market, he walks to it every time he's out there. So I don't know. Do you have any other thing you want to say about that? I guess not.
Did you ever suspect there was infidelity? Because that's one thing that will make you walk out.
Of course I did. I felt like, you know what? There is a time I even accepted. Listen, I'm there. I accepted. I was like, I knew very well someone else is, there's someone else out there who makes him happy, and I don't. And I decided to, let me just keep quiet. Let's just push on with life. But I think what really brought me down is now the Cold War. You don't talk to me. I don't exist in your life. You talk to the helper. You talk to the child. I'm zero. You come smelling perfume. I mean, it was so much fun. For me, I think this is not what I signed up for.
Could there be a reason behind it? Because why would they ignore you from you being
Thank you.
The perfect
in fact,
wife?
I was coming to that. I was really concerned. Do you know, up to date, I have never known what it is I did that he went silent. And I would even try find out. The first few days I tried asking, is there anything wrong? Have I done anything wrong? And I was told no. So I think I don't like pushing. The moment someone shows me that there's a wall, I'm this person who respects that wall. I'll stay on my lane. I stick to my lane. So there was no time I was told, this is what you did, this is what you said. Never. So I assumed probably he was also maybe tired of me. That is what I could say. I assumed, since I never got the answers. So it got this moment. Once in a while, he'll come, he'll pack things, he'll pack his clothes in a bag, he will go. I am not being told anything. I remember one day my helper telling me, hey, Mama Jasmine umeachwa. And I was like, don't worry, it's okay.
Wait a minute. The house help is the one that announced to you that your man had left you.
Yes. Because I had gone to take the child to the bus or whatever, so she's picked by the van, and he actually passed us, and he was carrying a bag with his clothes. But at that time, I didn't know what it was, but he just went. So when I went home, I realized in the closet, there were a few things missing. And the helper came and told me, Mama Jasmine, you've been left. And I was like, I was just easy. I just laughed. I was like, it's okay. Then she was like, Mama Jasmine, utalipa aje rent? Watoto utanunulia food nini? And then I just told her, hey, just calm down. Things will be fine. What are you worried about? I'm
very
a very
optimistic
strong
of you.
Yes.
That was so optimistic.
Yes, I put on this face of, come on, vitu kidogo, what are you worried about? Well, in my mind, I'm thinking, where am I going to get the rent, by the way? Yes. But I was just like, anyway, I don't know. I was very sure that he can't just live like that. And to my surprise, in the evening, he came back. But you see now that these things that make me feel clearly there's someone else, because I was like, where is he going? Where are the things being taken to? But I decided I will not ask. I decided to be a fool and just keep quiet and assume everything is okay. So, but Ellie, I think I'm one person who can take too much. I can only take too much up to a certain point. It might not look too much to someone else. Someone else might say, hey, you would have just persevered and just, but I'm this kind of a person who I do not allow external things to come and bring me down. I have totally forgotten myself. I have sacrificed my dreams. I am here with nothing to show for. Ellie, nothing to show for. By the way, I was this person who, if he would have probably locked out of the house, I had a 20 bob to go somewhere I did not have. So I sat down and I told myself, I think I am really losing track and I need to get back.
Wait.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you had graduated from school. You had no way of making money by any chance. You were just a stay-home mother.
I was just a stay-home mom, but what I was doing, there are times I would go to Gikosh and get clothes and try to sell them. And in fact, I would have very nice ideas. Problem is, I've come to realize, if your up here is not okay, you end up not making it, like I'm not sober. I don't have some sober minds to make the right business. But there I really tried so many things. I would sell house mats, I would sell tops, I would sell kids. I even opened a kids shop when I was pregnant with my second child. I remember I had a kids shop, very nice clothes, what, and they
I'm
would
sure
go.
your kid ended up dressing all of them.
By the way, they still have some of those clothes. So I would say it's not like I was just there, but why I'm saying there was nothing to show for, because when I can't make sober decision, even my finances just go, left, right, and center, and then I don't have nothing at the end of the day. And I'm not able to discuss some of these things with my partner because of most of the time I'm shown Cold War,
Mhm.
So it got to a point, there's a friend of mine, I must mention this, and big up Merab Mombi, Mesh, we call her Mesh. One
Mesh,
day
big up to you.
yes, man, this girl, we were with her in high school. And one day she was at the apartment. Coincidentally, she was just in the apartment where we used to live. She had come to do some whatever business. I can't even remember what it was. Then as I was walking along the corridor of my house, I had someone calling me. So when I looked at her, I do glasses, so my eyesight is not so good. So I could see this lady. I can't really see her face, but she looked really nice. She's beautiful, and I'm wondering, who is this? So she calls me again, and that's when I see, this is Mesh, and she's looking good. I remember telling myself, oh no, these are the situations I really avoid. I don't like meeting with people who know me, especially from high school or college, because they might look at me and they're thinking, Josephine, whatever happened to you? So I remember that evening, we really shared with her. She shared with me the way she's been through a tough marriage as well. Then I shared with her my story, and she could not believe it. She was like, Josie, this is not the Josie I used to know. Because you were one of those chicks in high school. People were looking up to, and you were thinking the next minute we'll see you in TV, you're doing things. And I told her, well, by the way, just to mention that I had also done a few programs in TV, that was before my second child. So I had done a few shows here and there. I had tried to push things along, but somehow, like I told you, when you're up here, it's not straight. You don't even know when things just go off. So she really encouraged me. And that conversation, if it was not for that conversation, I don't think I'll be here to date. Because Mesh reminded me of the person that I was. And slowly I started remembering the Josephine that was there back then. And I even started thinking of what was the initial plan for God when he created me. And I remember I thought, I looked at myself and I felt I was not living that at all. I had lost track. And then I started now taking myself through the process of, because I learned that I need to move. At that moment, I was so sure I need to walk out.
Before we walk out and say anything to that, again, let me just shout out to everybody that is watching tonight. We have Jean Kulabi. Sometimes the power of silence work in marriage. Okay, silence treatment. Probably just doesn't agree with that. Earth is tough. Earth is tough. Which market, Ellie? Yeah, girl child, the boyfriend was going through some markets to find some stuff to smell and sniff. So you never know. Wow. That says, Edekweyu, thank you so much. And I think it's a 50 parts affair tonight. Where have you been hiding? I don't know, but Karibu Sana back to Art in Heart. And we have, we call it live. Remember, you can share this cast with all your friends, especially those ones that are missing tonight, because I see a lot of them are not here. Let them know we are live and we are broadcasting for you a story that you want to hear, stories that are rare, but of course, they make sense. We take another break, and after that, when we come back, we want to dig deeper into Josephine's story. This is Against All Odds.
Nikitaka kukusifu sauti nitapaza. Umenipa maneno, matendo yako kwangu mimi nitatangaza. Umenipa wimbo, sijaona kama wewe. Kwa wimbo huu, wacha uitwe Mungu, ulinipa nguvu zangu siku.
Awesome, 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 awesome. That is Josephine, of course. You know, she's an artist. In case you missed out on part one, now you have a reason to go back onto YouTube, Facebook, and whatever channel you think you can find us on and rewatch, because she told us all her foundation, which is bringing us to the second part of this conversation. My name is Likuyani Eli, and of course, you are right in time for the second half of this show. Stay with us because you still want to listen to Josephine. Josephine, mimi nataka nijue ni nini likufanya ukaimba wimbo. Ni kuvunjika roho ama ni kwa sababu likuja ukakuwa single mother?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Okay. So, like I was saying, when Mesh talked to me, I opened up and I decided I need to move. I need to really move because I am not finding my place here. I'm not finding my happiness here. And totally, I'm not even bringing happiness to the other person. I even felt I could sympathize with him because I could imagine how it feels. You walk into a house where you're also not happy. So I decided to do us a favor. I really need to move. But before I do that, I need to take time and be sure that this is what I want to do. Because remember, I already have 2 children. I have at that time, I have a 3-year-old. Was she 3? I think she was 4. Sorry. She was turning 4 that year. And then I have a 6 months at that point. I have a 6 months child. No employment, no income, nothing. So I really had to think about it. Like, what am I getting myself into? And remember, like I told you, this guy was really hardworking. He would make sure that even where we were living, it was a nice place, you know, we are comfortable. I am not worried about rent. So I really had to think of, these kids have already been given a stable environment, but it's not healthy. Mommy is not happy, daddy is not happy. Clearly, this is not a happy environment for them. So I need to figure out what to do. So I remember this, I gave myself 1 month. And that 1 month, I even had to get out of our bedroom. I would stay in the kids' bedroom. And that's where I used to sleep. And I would sleep with my small child in the sister's bed. We would all squeeze in there. It was terrible. We would all squeeze in there. And I remember most of the night I would sleep there crying because of what I was putting my babies, you know, to go through. And especially now, you know, when some nights he would come with a perfume, I would really feel bad for the young child because, you know, there's a small baby in bed and the perfume is really too much. I'm one person who is really affected by perfumes, cold. I have allergy. So I had to move with my baby to that small bed. So we would all squeeze in there. And the nights were long. Most of the night I would cry. I would hear, when he would come in, I would hear him open the door. And I remember my heart would skip a beat and I would start saying my prayers because I honestly, it had gotten to a point that I don't know what I'm expecting. So every time I would hear the door open, I would get so scared. I would, you know, like, I'm losing breath.
I'm sorry, but it's one thing to feel detached from your partner. It's another thing to feel afraid of their presence. What was happening exactly?
Trust me, you don't want to get
What exactly was happening?
I think I had gotten to a point at one particular time when I had tried questioning a few things, like maybe we didn't have breakfast. There's a moment, a morning, I remember my baby taking tea without something, you know, and I had gotten really pissed off because the previous night I could not get him. And he had also started, you know, being a bit, he was sluggish when it comes to giving money for food. And I couldn't understand why. And it would really bother me a lot. You know, it would kill me.
Probably he had too much budget to take care of another child the other side, and you with 2 more children. Could that be the reason?
That could be okay. But you see where communication comes in. You see, he does not communicate. So how am I supposed to know what is wrong? What is going on? I need to understand. So, however, I remember there's one particular morning things got so heated up. He almost hit me. And my child was there and she witnessed and she was going to school. It was an ugly scene. I don't even want to talk about it. And I remember from that time, there was now that is where I started now getting scared. I felt like I was a little bit worried. There's also another scenario maybe I had not mentioned. It was also quite sensitive. When I was pregnant with my second child, this is another story for another day because I know you might ask so many questions about it. But we had a disagreement, and I remember he got so angry with me and threw me. He pushed me away, and I was 3 months pregnant. I had kind of rolled on the floor and hit the sofa. That was the first time he had become physical. He had never laid his hands on me. And I remember he twisted my arm, and it was so ugly because I wanted to leave. It was 11 at night. And because of that, I was so angry. The following morning, I went to the police and reported the case. And he had to report to the police, yes. And he had got locked up for the whole day. So that's why I say that's another story for another day. That was quite ugly. So I remember now, because of that, I was a little bit scared. I was like, I don't know what I did. Maybe he still has that bitterness that I
Okay.
actually
So probably that's
took.
why you always felt that scary
Yes.
effect when he's around.
Yeah, now you understand. So now moving forward, after the 1 month elapsed, and I was so sure that I need to move, and this is the decision I'm making. I talked to my family. I talked to my uncles who were there during the dowry session because I chose to respect that. I decided I'm not just going to pack and go. So I involved my parents, and they came, and one of my uncles, and they all had a sitting as I was packing, and my parents were so saddened by it. They believed in, you guys, why can't you just sit down? These are petty things. We can't even see. You see, the problem was we're not seeing what is the reason. Why are you guys partying? I don't have that tangible reason and say this is what happened. No, it was a series of things that had built up, and I had come now to a conclusion. However, I had already made up my mind.
Yeah.
So moving on, Ellie, I moved.
Was the
with
family supportive? That's your family. Was it supportive your decision, or were they a bit hesitant?
They respected my decision because I think they had also seen what I had gone through. So they respected my decision, although they would never, not a single moment did they ever tell me, move. I remember one day my mom told me, I would never tell you, Wambui, move out of your marriage, but I will always encourage you and give you the right advice. But what you're the one to do, you're the wearer of the shoe. Whatever you decide to do with your marriage, that is now none of my business. However, I will always support you. So that is what I've always got with my family, even with my elder sister. They have never made decisions for me. So the day came and I moved. Maybe one thing I need to mention, what I didn't do, I didn't involve his family, because I think during the marriage, I felt like we were a bit distant, especially with the parents. I was never so close with them. Yes, we would talk over the phone, but I wasn't feeling so free now to tell them that I'm leaving your son. So I moved. And I got a new place, and of course I was getting help to pay the rent. Big up to my big sister and the husband. Man, they came through for me big time. They supported me big time. That when I got in there, they made sure that they're able to pay the rent. But mind you, they did not support. They were not like telling me, yo, move, get out of your marriage. No, it's that when I moved out, I'm not able to cater for so much of my needs, and they were able to come through for that. So at this time, I remember I started now thinking of what can I do. I decided to advertise myself, that I can make nails, I can do hair. I even there were pages on, even when you go to Facebook, you can look for braids and nail supremacy. So I started marketing myself. I had never fixed anyone's nails. I used to do my nails. So I decided, with the knowledge I have, I'm going to convince people that I can do this. And trust me, I would get clients because it was just online. Someone would say, her work is good, and they call me. And that's how I was able to buy maybe milk for the baby, or diapers for the child, or food. But I only did that for a very short time, because it now started wearing me out. I have a 7-month, now my baby is 7 months old. I can't afford a helper. At one point, my helper left. I have another one who is going to school. So if I have to go wherever I'm going, I leave my child in a daycare. My child, Ellie, would cry from morning till evening, the whole day. And I would go to daycare, and they would tell me, wow, this child has been crying the whole day. So remember, again, I'm also dealing with children who are already seeing a family setup. Even this 7 months old had already started seeing there's a daddy, they start seeing because they can see their daddy. Then all of a sudden, they're not seeing that. So my child really got affected by that, and it affected her to date, so that she became a crying baby. And the other one, who was the daddy's girl, she was so close to the daddy. She's now so much overwhelmed, and she has so many questions to ask me. At this time, I'm dealing with bitterness. I'm dealing with, by the way, just to mention this, the moment I moved, to be honest, I felt so much peace. I remember the first night I slept like a baby. I had never slept like that before. So I felt some peace of mind, and I decided, you know what, let me struggle with, if it's finances, let me struggle with things at hand, but let me not struggle with things of where I'm dealing with someone who I don't know what it is he thinks about me. So that's one thing I at least I made a step in that. I could feel I'm totally at peace. But now the problem was, again, dealing with kids who I could see they're going through things and they're not able to express themselves because they're young. So then also the business was not doing so well, because remember, it's online. You're waiting for a client to call you, so I have to keep marketing myself. So it ended up that I'm not able to, to cater for our expenses. And I had to, at one point, I started now, my mom was very concerned about it. And she told me, young lady, you went to campus. I mean, you did your studies so well. You've gone to university. You're a graduate. You have your certificates. But my certificates are still in Maseno. I had never gone for them. So we decided,
because the only certificate you took out of Maseno was the birth certificate.
Was the birth certificate.
See your life.
And this birth certificate cannot help us at the moment. So she told me, young lady, you need to go for those certificates so that you can start looking for a job. So coincidentally, at that time, I remember my brother-in-law, that is the husband to my sister, big up David. These are people who, man, they have been, they came through for me in my life in a way that I can never even pay up. So he was in the country, because at that time they had left the country. He was in the country. And I was so worried. Where do I leave my children? How do I travel to Kisumu? And I have young ones. And he told me, you know what, Mambo, just bring me those children. And I remember I told him, please note, my baby is a crying baby. She's going to give you a hell of a time. And he said, yo, bring me these kids. So nikapelekea yeye watoto, and off I went to Kisumu. When I went to Maseno, I remember I had the toughest time of my life, because I had to pay charges for not picking my certificate for over 3 years. These guys have been, there are charges that accrue, 1,200 per year. I didn't have the cash, but my mom came through big time, and then I pay. After I've cleared all this, now I'm going to give the receipt so that I'm given the certificate. It was on a Tuesday. Guess what the secretary for the DVC tells me? She tells me, oh, we don't give out the certificates on Tuesday, we give them on Thursday. That is when I remembered I was an actress. I remembered for 4 years, this woman does not know I have studied drama and theater. I decided to act.
That night. You auditioned for your own play and directed it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But we want to find out more about that, because I see time is really hitting us again. And Godi already requested for part 3. So I hope this is not being the situation here. For those that are joining us, of course, thank you so much. This is Art in Heart, and you're watching Against All Odds. We are speaking to Josephine. Kevin Tindi says, we rarely hear stories of planes that took off and landed well, but we hear stories of planes that crashed. That's the same with marriage. We rarely hear about flourishing marriages, or some. And you know what? Having said that, did you know you can actually get to learn more from this very own Kevin Tindi, because he's always here on the worship nights every single first Friday of the month. But here again, take a look.
Whenever we speak of great achievers, we tend to use phrases like, they've come from far, they started from the bottom, or they did a lot to get to where they are. Lifted on kevintindi.com.
A broken heart could be a legitimate cause of death. True or false?
True.
Why?
Suicide. Short and precise.
James, James, do you want to help me? Probably, as a professional psychologist, do you think a broken heart could be a cause for them?
It is actually a cause. It is actually a cause. I want to send African man back to schools and tell him to read on a syndrome called broken heart syndrome. I will not explain that syndrome. I've given you the cue.
No, my friend, I don't know what is happening. Let's ask. You asked me a question, eh? I said yes. And now you're telling me I'm saying yes, and you're telling me to school. Did you say no? I'm not living in a second. You think this gets
Well, let's do this. Let's do this,
No.
in all fairness.
Everyone tells you to watch out for the following signs and symptoms which might indicate that you are a mental health patient. Everyone gives you a clinical approach on how to tackle your mental health problems. But me, I'm no expert. I'm just an artistic soul with a simple life and a simple approach on how to stay sane in a world designed to drive you insane. Simple, the EP. Enjoy.
And of course, welcome back. If you want to find out about Simple, the EP, go onto YouTube and look out for Saumu Combo, interesting EP that you need to listen to because she covers matters mental health. And of course, I want to take this opportunity to actually call out to those people that are feeling that things are not working. There's somebody that can talk to you, and that's why we have Responding to Life here on Art in Heart that is partnering with Responding to Life through Victoria and Katha. So, reach out, find help. The likes of Kevin Tindi are there, get lifted, read a book, and always find somebody you can confide in. If not your friend, a professional. Let's find out what happened to Josephine because she became a drama queen, literally.
Literally, I became a drama queen. So I really cried to this secretary and I told her, I remember I asked her, are you a mother? And she was startled. She was like, who is this who has the audacity to ask me if I'm a mother or not? And I told her, I'm asking you this because I am a mother of 2 young children and one is actually breastfeeding. And as I'm talking to you right now, my breasts are swollen with milk because I traveled overnight. And I am so exhausted. The whole day I've been running up and down so that I'm able to get my certificate. And I've been able to clear everything I'm supposed to clear. Then you're seated here and you're facing me and telling me that I am supposed to come for this certificate on Thursday. I actually borrowed fare to come here. And I need to pay back that fare when I'm back. Then you cannot tell me I'll be picking my certificate on Thursday because by Thursday, today, I should be traveling back to Nairobi. And she looked at me and she told me, like I said, I cannot help you. So I went again and told her, listen, I am not in a good state of mind right now because I just broke up with the father of my children. So I've even left my children with another person and he needs to go. I need to release them. Please do all you can and help me get my certificate. She told me to have a seat. She actually told me, have a seat. And she told me, tell me your story. And Ellie, we ended up being friends. She took my number. We became friends. And she told me, in case I have anything I want to talk, she will even want to take me to her church to introduce me to her pastor. Oh, do you want to know if I had the certificate? Of course I had it. I walked with it in my hands. So I went back.
Was this
home.
drama or this reality? Because clearly you had a heart that was broken, you had a child that was breastfeeding, and of course you had somebody that was taking care of your child. But
I needed to bring it out. I needed to bring it out in a way that she's, I'm just going to
make your story believable, even if it's very believable.
Yes, even if it's. So anyway, fast forward, Ellie, I came and I was able to apply. I was applying 1,000,001 jobs at this time, but there was this one job my friend had given me And he told me in their farm they were looking for someone. I try applying for it. I need to say something about this the application of this job, something very small. That when God decides he's going to give you that thing, whether you are on time or not, he will still show up. Earlier, I applied for this job because my brother forced me to do it. My brother James Awero Bigger, I love you big time. So we call him Wesh. Wesh asks me, there's a job that a friend of yours sent you, but you don't apply for it. Why have you not applied for it? And I tell him, it's because it's overdue. The application is overdue. Then he told me, no, let's do this. Let's just apply for it so that even as your friend probably he could be pushing around for it, he doesn't become disappointed that this Chile, I gave her a job application and she didn't apply. So we applied the job. But remember, it was like 4 days overdue. So I was so sure we're just applying for formality so that if my friend asks me, oh, did you apply for the job I told you to apply? I'll say confidently, yes, I applied for it. And guess what? The following day, I'm called for an interview for the same job. And that was the only job I applied for that I was called for interview, and I got the job. And as I was applying for the job, I was applying for a 6-month contract. But as when I was called and I passed the interview, I was told it's a 1-year contract for a different kind of a job. It was, like it was a miracle. So here I am. I've gotten a job. At that time, I had taken my kids back home because remember, life had become so tough when I was hustling here and there. I had taken the kids back home. So I was able to rush back, get a place. I was residing at Roysambo at that time. And then I got my kids back.
Lumumba Drive. Was it Lumumba Drive?
It was Lumumba Drive.
Oh, son of Abraham.
You remember the saying that God created the world, but he also created Roysambo. We were one of those pioneers.
Fearfully and wonderfully made.
We were fearfully and wonderfully made. And I was in Roysambo early, and I decided to raise my children as a single mom, and I was empowered because I am working. And I was, for the first time in my life, I was able to pay rent. Do you know what that meant to me? I was a person who could not even afford fare. And here I am, I'm paying my rent. I'm able to, oh my God, I can dress my children. The salary wasn't too much, but whatever it could do, I was so happy about it. And I decided,
the money that you get to earn. The money that you get to earn, it's so sweet than the money that you get to hand out. However much millions you receive, the money you sweat for, believe me, is the best. So you're paying your rent.
I'm paying my rent. I'm able to pay my helper. I'm able to buy food. Wherever this money takes us through the month, whether it issues or not, at least I'm able to call a few people here and there. My family, my mom, my sister, they have never gotten tired of helping me. These 2 women, I always say, you say for a successful woman, there is a man behind. My life, I owe it to these 2 women, my sister and my mom. Every time I look at myself, I see these 2 women. They are very supportive. So that was 2018. 2018 was the same year I left my marriage in April. And by 2018, in June 18, I had reported to office. And I started.
Don't you think that's strange? It's strange because every single of these years that were there, the only thing you concentrated on was being a good wife and a good mother and probably a good friend and daughter. But you forgot your personal ambitions. And when everything seemed not to have worked out for you, it's the only chance that opened up and you actually went out there to look for a job. What does that say to you?
Wow, it says a lot to me that I think it's very important to think about oneself. It's very important for you to sit back and remember yourself, because at times you might lose yourself. And remember, you cannot give what you don't have. Eventually, you will wear out. I was trying to be really good. I'm trying to be a good wife. I'm trying to be but am I trying to be good to myself? Hence, it dries up completely and I have nothing else to give. It is over. So I feel like for me, it means a lot that it was important for me to look at myself and make a decision to work on Josephine so that I'm able to now give. There's no way I would have been able to pay for rent or buy my child something if I've not worked on myself and I'm able to earn. See? So yes, so 2018 came and it was over and it was such a beautiful year. I was so much at peace, Ellie. I was, oh my God. And remember all this time, I did not have contact with the father of the children. Once in a while, I tried to reach him because he was, honestly, he was paying my daughter's fee. So, but he was just communicating with the school. I would try to reach him just to, when the kids were really concerned, they want to talk to their daddy. But it got to a point I felt like, let me just first of all close it so that there's peace, everyone. So I remember there's a time we went for 5 months. I had not heard from him. Honestly, I did not know where he went. People will tell me, oh, how is so and so, what, and I'll be like, I don't know. From a very honest point, I did not know. So 2018 came, 2019 came, and towards the end of 2019, that is when he started resurfacing. He started coming back.
How many years later are those? Mathematics and myself are not friends.
You're not same WhatsApp. So that was just a year. Because
a year. Your marriage looked like 5 years a slave.
I left in 2018 in April, and 2019 towards the end of 2019, that is when he started coming back. Okay. So
how was he coming back? Like, hey,
back was first of all, yes, he started really getting involved physically. He would come, he wants to see his children. And I was one person who had made it so clear to him that no matter where I go, this will remain to be your children. And there's no single point I will close my doors for you, because I respect the fact that
long live Josephine. Long live Josephine.
No,
tell them who are watching you what important it is. I mean, how important it is when you actually get to involve the father of the children in your children's life. Kindly tell them.
It is very important. It's very important because remember, most of the time, we women, we act out of bitterness, and you're looking at yourself. You're like, this guy did this to me. He's never seeing me, and he's never seeing my children. But you forget these children are not you. You and these children are two different people, okay? So I used to say, I've been brought up by my both parents. My dad has been there. He's still there to date. I do not know how it feels to be without a dad in your life. So at times I would look at my children and I'm wondering, I don't even know what they're going through, because I don't know how it feels to not have a dad in your life. So I decided I will not lock out the dad out of their lives, so that later in life, they'll not point fingers at me. Yes, we had differences, but that was between me and him, not between him and them. So, and I really want them to grow having a father figure in their life. Maybe there are things they would want to share with him and not me. And I locked him out. So they'll end up getting attention from other men, or getting from wrong people in their lives. Honestly, I decided I'll choose to give my children what I can and do all I can. And I could call him. I remember I would have conversation with him on the phone. I told him, honestly, I have not closed my doors for my children. Even if I'm at work, just let me know you're going, and then I alert my helper. You can have time with them. And that is what happened. So in 2019, he started doing that. He started showing up. And my God, my children were so happy because they really love their daddy. They would be so excited. I would come from work. I come home and I find a house full of laughter. They are happy. They tell me they've been with daddy, Then slowly by slowly, now he would come like over the weekend, like on Sunday, and then
wait. I read a comment here. Josephine, read that comment.
I'm here to ask for part 3 before time ishe.
Just in case you were asking, consider your prayers answered, because I see something happened when daddy came too much. I want to find out what it is. But before we call it a night, Josephine, ambia watu kitu ya mwisho tu. You have 30 seconds.
Wow. You got to love yourself. You have to look at yourself and see a lot of greatness. You just cannot give up. You cannot afford to give up on yourself, because there is yet more to come for you in this life. So give yourself another chance to live and dare to dream, and you'll be surprised.
Dare to dream, you'll be surprised. Probably we'll be finding out what surprises Josephine has for us in part 3, because she asked for it, you asked for it, and you got it. Have a nice night. My name is Likuyani Eli, and this is Against All Odds. See you next week as we bring you part 3 of this lady's phenomenal story. Good night. God bless you.
mataifa yote